So it's early morning, a little after 6:30 at Stehekin, which is a little town, really little remote town on Lake Chelan. The only way in to Stehekin is by ferry or foot. So it's on Lake Chelan, and it's pretty remote. You got a restaurant. You have breakfast there in a minute. You got a general store. And those buses, those shuttle buses, go back and forth from the trailhead, bringing hikers and stuff. There's a couple of resorts, this being one, where you can rent cabins. There's another one up the road a little bit where you can rent cabins. There's a bakery a couple of miles down the lake. One-room schoolhouse. Last year had 10 kids between kindergarten and 8th grade. So this is about as remote as you can get. Anyway, cool place. Gonna head out on the next journey to the end of the trail at the Canadian border. Just starting up, well, less than a mile in. Come on this little lake, a mile in from the Stehekin shuttle, High Bridge shuttle location. So the next 3 days are going to get me to the Canadian border. A little less than 80 miles there. We have been informed that there was one blowdown on the northern part of the PCT. We're about, I would say, not quite 7.5 miles in-ish, something around there. And this might be it. This might be the one blowdown in the northern section. But you may be hearing a note of irony and sarcasm, because I can just about guarantee there's more than one stinking blowdown on this section. But that's the first of the one blowdown that has been reported in the northern section. All right, mile 25, 84.5. Looking down to Bridge Creek and up at mountains and the trail. So shooting for a tent site which is just past Rainy Pass on Highway 20, which I have from very reliable sources is one of the prettiest drives in Washington. So at some point I'm going to want to drive Highway 20 to see how reliable that information is. Anyway, walking up just about a quarter mile to water source and lunch stop, and full day is going to be probably a little less than 20 miles, something like that. Started late, started about 9, and so we're going to get lower mileage today. So I'm told these bushes are mountain ash with these red berries. All around this section here. So it's about 4:20. We are at mile 5 or 2,591, and about 7 miles away from where we want to camp, about 2,200 feet of climbing. So still a bit of climbing to go, but it'll be a later day, but we got a late start. So you can barely see it, but it's right there. The PCT is right there. Highway 20 is right there. But the PCT parallels Highway 20 for a mile, mile and a half, something like that. It's right there. But we don't cross it. All right. North Cascades Scenic Highway, Highway 20, Rainy Pass. So, trail just comes up there, and if you look down that way, see some other PCTers walking in this direction here. Maybe they're lost, I don't know. It would be awesome if there were trail magic up here, but doesn't look like there's trail magic, so we're just gonna have to hit the trail again. So this cute little waterfall is at mile 2595.3. It's a little less than 3 miles from camp, and just so about a mile from Rainy Pass. You'd never know it driving past Rainy Pass, but yeah. So this was camp. Last night is about 23 and a half miles in, so I went a little farther than anticipated, but it was a nice place. You can see the gorgeous sun on the mountains behind. Pretty nice place. The trail is right up this way. And today, hoping to get to Hart's Pass, which is just over 27 miles. And that is the meetup place after the turnaround at the border. And these are the mountains, a little up, maybe a quarter of a mile up from the campsite with a little bit more sun. Again, just another example where you can see an old glacier. Would have carved this area out. You can see the granite up there. Looks kind of Sierra-y with the trees growing, looking like they're growing straight out of the rock. So a pretty morning. Got another new vista. Sorry, sun's in your eyes. Mine too. But you can see the mountains. pretty cool. I'm gonna walk over here, see what's going on in this view, although we're not going down. Oh. So I camped with this couple. They get up early for getting out and having breakfast, looking over the view. Yeah. Chippy and Burrito Bear. So, yeah. Good day so far. I suspect we're going to go through that notch there. So this is a cool piece of rock, and you can see the trail going out over that away. Another new view. Look at those horns. That is really cool. So we just went over Little Pass. There's going to be some more passes that go over today. But this is really cool to see these mountains. And the horns all over the place. This is cool. So this is mile 2603. And so we're about 52 miles from the Canadian border. And the plan is to cover about 27 miles today, 25-ish or so tomorrow, and probably hit the Canada border day after tomorrow. So that would be like a 3-day-ish hike to the border, turn around, and a 2-ish day out from the border to Hart's Pass for pickup. We're coming up on Metho Pass. Just down from Metho Pass, just a little bit, so you can get a little better view. It's the lower of the passes we'll be traveling today. Just about 7.5-ish miles out of camp, which means about 20 miles to go. It's about 9:15. So we're at mile 2606.3, looking over at Golden Horn. It's really cool. It's like a pipe organ walking past in the wilderness. All right, this is documentary proof there are at least 2 blowdowns on this section of the PCT. So whoever said there was none, whoever said there was one, wrong. The reality is this trail has been really clear. So, lunch and the last water source was zigzaggy down there. This is coming up on the top one of the two highest peaks of today. And new view. And if you'll see, what you'll see is a very different, much drier landscape. You can see the trail heading off in that direction. Middle of the day is kind of a long water carry. It's about 13 miles or so to get to the next real water source. Plan is to camp at or near Hart's Pass. There's water nearby there, and that will be the point that I meet up with my favorite trail angel, who's going to take me out in a few days. We're at 26:19.7, and as I pointed out in the last video, this is really different landscape than earlier today in the last, quite a while actually. So you can see this talus field, trail going up that way, zigzags, and then over that way underneath that peak there. This is an old Pacific Crest Trail sign. Still should be useful. Hart's Pass, 2 miles that away. Canadian border, 35 miles that away. So guess which way I'm going? That away. Oh! This is the third blowdown in this section. So clearly somebody was misleading or lying outright about there being no blowdowns in this section. She's done.
Would you like a cup of cocoa?
So I just came around the corner. This here is Hart's Pass. And guess what we have.
Oh.
So trail magic, trail angels. There we got Lucas
and a ranger.
And a ranger. Wow. Okay.
It is not vegan, it is not low fat, and it has chocolate chips in it.
Whoa.
No, it's none of those.
Nice.
It was made in a kitchen with...
All right, I'm going to depack and consume.